Of Morning Scone, presented by Brock, the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic, Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. Do business with someone you know, Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. All right, y'all, let's get rolling here. Appreciate everybody for being here as always. Big news, which was, was expected. I mean, it was kind of leaked a couple of weeks ago that Drew Brees officially, it is official now, he's leaving NBC after 1 year. Again, that had been leaked, and after that, remember Brees put out that long statement on Twitter or social media where he said, you know, I'll let you know, might be at NBC, might be somewhere else, might spend time with my family, might play again, I'll let you know. It's very much a thing where you could tell these guys don't they don't like being scooped. They don't like having stuff leaked. And clearly, what happened there was Brees had conversations with NBC executives, and somebody at NBC leaked it, which is how it got out there. And Brees was clearly none too pleased with that getting out there. So. But it similar to when Tom Brady retired and then waited another week or whatever it was because Schefter kind of jumped the gun on it. But it's what. So Brees is retired, or excuse me, Brees is officially now will not return to NBC. You know, the NBC statement said that, you know, Brees was wanting to spend more time with his family. And I don't know what you thought was going to happen. I mean, media is, it's not playing sports where you're breaking down film and you're around the facility all the time. But, you know, in many respects, when you're doing that job and you're traveling as much, I mean, you think about what Drew Brees was doing. You know, if you're calling a Notre Dame game on Saturday, you're probably going to South Bend on Thursday or Friday, you know, to watch practice and go over game notes and talk to coaches, have all those meetings. You know, you're calling that game on Saturday. As soon as that game ends, you're flying to New York for Football Night in America. You're watching games all day Sunday and then doing Football Night in America and, you know, halftime of Sunday Night Football and then maybe back to San Diego on Monday to spend a couple days with family. Then you do it all over again. I mean, football season's a grind, y'all. I mean, it is. So that's, you know, I'm curious to see if Brees does any more TV, or if he, you know, if he decides to go a different route. So I know he said one of the things he wanted to do was call more games, but there's really no opportunity to do that at NBC because you have one game and they have, you know, Football Night in America on Sunday Night Football, and they've got their team with now Mike Tirico and Chris Collinsworth. So. You know, it'll be interesting to see what's next. I don't think Drew Brees is going to play football again, but it'll be interesting to see what's next. So, got that. Of course, I spent a lot of time yesterday talking LSU baseball, kind of recapping the season. Let me know your thoughts and what y'all got. Fire away with questions as always. And here we go. Truex, what's good? David Coslin, good morning. Rob Walker, good morning from Georgetown, Texas. Matt Godwin, Randy Dabdoob. Teddy Rasafi, good morning. Hello from deployment in Eastern Europe on the west side of Romania. Teddy, thank you for your service. That's phenomenal. Thank you for checking in from the west side of Romania. Please give the Romanian judge our best. Like old Olympic joke, right? The Romanian judge gave him a 2.5. Anyway, thanks for watching, Teddy. Great to see you there, man. Hey, Dad, good morning. Chuck Sanchez. What's up, Chuck? Get it? Up, Chuck? Jacob Willis. What's up, Jacob Willis? Jeff McKiffin. Brian Wynn. Chase Pellegrin. Good morning, good morning.
What time are you leaving?
Whenever you're home.
What time do you need to leave?
10:30?
Okay.
Bye, babe. Deborah Coward, good morning. Oops, I missed a couple comments. My apologies. Let me scroll back there. Gary Petrie. Morning, Scone. Will we have better pitching and will we have a dominant closer? Who is our hitting coach? So Dan Fitzgerald is the hitting coach, brought him from Dallas Baptist, and Wanaka, the big guy who was first base coach, also works with the hitters. Better pitching, yes, and I say that very confidently because they signed 21 players in this class, and I think 11 of them are arms. So they very much addressed the need to bring in more arms. On top of that, Javen Coleman, Ty Floyd, Dutton, Taylor, Money, all those guys are back. And you would expect somebody makes a progression, if not multiple guys make a progression. So, yeah, they'll be better. It would be hard to be worse. And I don't mean that to be critical or dismissive, but when you go through a season where you don't have a rotation, a real rotation, I would imagine that's priority number one, is get that in place. Rob Waller, good morning. John DeRoche, who's QB1 as of now? John, if I had to guess, the first day of the first practice of fall camp, Miles Brennan will take that snap. He's a 6-year guy, and that would be my guess. I don't know that he'll maintain that, but that's going to be on him. I wrote to you, we lost 4 series this year. Those 4 teams are in the Supers. Nothing to be ashamed of. Jay is building. That's some good perspective. Obviously good perspective. But it's just not the standard, right? And I'm going to maintain, y'all. I know it's spilled milk at this point, but LSU and Arkansas absolutely should have been regional hosts over Auburn and Florida. Auburn advanced, Florida did not. But Arkansas winning 18 conference games, LSU winning 17, and getting snubbed for Auburn and Florida. I think that sets a very bad precedent. So, anyway. Mark, Saints running back, defensive end spots, also linebacker are my main concern. Who will place Kamara? Winston's going to get blitzed a lot if nobody's back there. A threat to run. So, running back, obviously, we're expecting Kamara will face a 6-game suspension, but at what point does that come? We don't know yet. You do have Tony Jones Jr. and Dwayne Washington, and they signed Abram Smith as an undrafted rookie free agent. I'm anticipating he's going to make the team. And remember, you got Mark Ingram there as well. So if punishment comes down, Kamara misses the first 6 games, I would imagine you'd have the combination of Mark Ingram and Abram Smith, and then Tony Jones Jr. if he makes the squad. You see how that goes. But I think you'll be okay there. Not dynamic, but okay. Defensive end, I also think if they're healthy, they're really good. Cam Jordan, Marcus Davenport has been a menace when he's been healthy, if he can stay healthy. You bring back Tano Passanio, who battled some injuries last year, but when he was on the field, he was really good and productive. And then the one we forget all the time that we don't mention enough is Peyton Turner. Y'all, Peyton Turner was the Saints' first-round pick last year. I mean, you basically played last year without Peyton Turner and Michael Thomas. Thomas was a second-round pick, obviously, but he's, an all-pro. I mean, getting Michael Thomas back and then having Peyton Turner, it's like having another first-round pick. So, you didn't get to see what Peyton Turner could do, but get him healthy and let him run around out there and see if he's ready to roll. So, I'm not so worried about that. Then linebacker, I think they'll probably end up bringing back Quan Alexander late in this process again, Mark. I mean, Demario Davis. Hang on one second. I'm sorry. Sorry about that. So, Demario Davis is back. They really like the steps Pete Werner took last year. You've added some free agent bodies, and then I do think that they'll bring back Quan late in the process again. So, see. Jump over here to YouTube. Saturday mornings over here. Tim Gotro, Pat Houston, Matt Lusto, Joey Vincent. What's up, y'all? Ryan Rogers. Tim just placed a bet on DraftKings for Tennessee to win the College World Series, which all but guarantees they'll go to a barbecue. You're welcome, Tiger fans. Thank you for using DraftKings, by the way. DraftKings. You know what y'all think about this? DraftKings sent me this. I don't know if I showed y'all this yet, but it's I met some of the DraftKings VIP hosts at Zurich, and so they sent me this. It's a freaking really nice gift. I mean, it's a sticker, but it's got a hat, golf towel, golf balls, 2 collared shirts, that's a bottle opener, a tumbler. I'm thinking about. And they also sent me an autographed football. I think it's a Leonard Fournette autographed football. You can tell they take care of their people. It's an autographed football. I guess they did through Fanatics, but look. I think it's Fournette. It says 7. I think it's Fournette 7. Looks like LF, yeah. So. Anyway, I'm thinking about just giving all this stuff away. I don't know how. Maybe I'll do something on air for a listener to give away all the DraftKings stuff. But is that stuff that y'all would want? Like if I decided to do a giveaway, I'd probably do it. I would do it on AFR because DraftKings sponsors AFR. So, but let me know if y'all think that would be cool. I mean, it's all very nice of them. I just don't. I mean. The amount of branded merchandise that I get is a lot. So, anyway, let me know. Larry Garner, Micah Hurd, good morning from Bossier. All right, man. Trivia Carter, good morning. Mac Tazzino, good morning. Man Spit, why should we care? I don't know what that means. Mike Sylvester on vacay in Panama City. All right, man, be safe out there. Check out Club La Vila if you get a shot. Brett, I think they closed that actually. Brett Dagro, morning Scone. Drew needs to do a podcast or just some inspirational speaking events. Hey, Drew Brees. Media, yes, obviously I would highly recommend that they do media production, some type of media production, but we'll see. But it's hard for those guys to quit the game, man. When they have a chance to still be around it. Hunter Fournette, that Chase Shores kid showing up would be big. 6'8", 98-mile-an-hour fastball would be huge. Could be 100 eventually. So yesterday on AFR, it was near the end of hour 2. I went through all of the signing class for LSU baseball. I kind of asked around to some scouts and try to get a feeling for who's got a chance to show up on campus, who's got no chance to show up on campus, who's definitely all that sort of stuff. And so if you want, I went prospect by prospect in the class. So if I'm doing this off the top, I think there are 8 guys that they feel like they're coming. And there's 5 that are like 50-50, kind of on the fence. Was it 4? Either 4 or 6 that it was like no chance. And then there were 2 that I couldn't get a read on. So Wendell Norman, what's going on? Brady Smith, Brant Roban. Sad to not see the title of your show this morning. Tigers prepare for Supers against Ole Miss. Yeah, that's true. Taz, news came out. Magic willing to trade the first overall pick for Zion Williamson. Your thoughts? I wouldn't do it. And is that? I mean, I haven't seen that. Um, I don't know that it necessarily. I mean, you said news came out. I mean, I haven't seen that anywhere reputable. So, I would say, Taz, be cautious with how you term things. Okay, like when you say news came out, you're basically saying that that's a report from a valid NBA reporter, a Woj, someone like that. And I haven't seen that anywhere. So, anyway, so just semantics, but careful how you word things, because I don't think that that's news anywhere. Because I mean, I Googled it and literally nothing comes up about that. So it's one thing if somebody puts it on Twitter or, might want to see that happen, but it's another if it's actually valid. And no, I wouldn't trade Zion. I think you've got enough invested in him. I think Jabari Smith may end up being spectacular, if in fact he is the first overall pick. But you got a first overall pick, a guy who you've invested a lot in, and a lot of time rehabbing a couple of injuries. But when he's been on the floor, he's been 27-10. So find a way to keep him on the floor. Jason H., good morning. Brand Roban, who do you think out of the LSU program or Saints has the most impressive season this year or next year? Probably Mulkey. Yeah, I mean, I think so. Football in Brian Kelly's first year, I don't know if y'all saw this, but DraftKings put out their win totals yesterday. They have LSU at 7. I know that's going to surprise a lot of y'all, but I mean, a lot of questions about this LSU football team. But anyway, so probably not Brian Kelly. I think Matt McMahon, same. I think they can have a winning record in conference play. Kim Mulkey, I think, has a legit shot to be a women's Final Four team. And then Jay Johnson next year, I think, will have a legit shot to go to Omaha. I mean, look, you were just 3 wins away from Omaha this year. You won 40 games. You were 3 wins away from Omaha. Yes. I mean, can he take that step year to year? Yes. And then Saints, I when the schedule first came out, I picked the Saints 10-7. So I think that makes you a playoff team. Doesn't make you a Super Bowl contender. I mean, you get in the playoffs, you always have a shot. But yeah, I think Mulkey's probably the best bet. Tim, I'd be down for the DraftKings swag. Okay. Brett, if you're giving away some of your high-end bourbon, I'm down. I'm not giving away my high-end bourbon. No, I'm not doing that. People who visit my home are always welcome to drink it if they'd like, but not giving away bottles. Chris McCann, wrap in batches. What's going on? Ricky Lambert, morning, Matt. No more live LSU sports. What are we to do? Yeah, Ricky. I mean, that's the question that I ask every year when baseball season ends. So I always say, I wish LSU baseball could get me to the end of June. If LSU baseball could play through the Supers and into Omaha, it'd get you to the end of June. You got about 2 weeks of a lull, and then SEC Media Days mid-July, and then Saints report, then LSU reports, and then that steam train starts rolling down the hill again. But yeah, man, the earlier LSU baseball loses, the more challenging, because you don't have local live sports going on again until until the Saints report and start preseason. So what do? You watch Major League Baseball, which I love, and you watch the NBA Finals, which I hope this is a really competitive series that goes 7, Game 3 tonight. And you start to get into the college football preview season. But it always seems to work out, though, that every summer there's some kind of splash report that carries through the summer. The example I always give is in 2011, it was 2011, LSU baseball missed postseason altogether, if you remember. They won the national championship in 09. In 2010, they lost at the UCLA Regional. 2011, they missed postseason play. They did not even make the SEC tournament. And that was when the tournament was still 10 teams, and so I'm sorry, it was 8 teams. It was before the league even expanded to 14. And LSU missed the SEC tournament, and despite having an RPI of 23 or something like that, missed the NCAA tournament altogether. And so baseball season ended before Memorial Day. And still, that was one of the busiest, it was one of the best ratings books we ever had, because that was when, if I'm remembering all this correctly, the LSU fired Trent Johnson, or Trent Johnson left it, so they hired Johnny Jones. Pelicans got Anthony Davis, the number 1 overall pick. The NFL was going through the lockout, if you remember. And so Drew Brees and all were organizing player-led workouts, and so there was this labor issue with the NFL. And then that's when conference realignment happened in college football. That was when all of the mass chaos was going down, and we were wondering, is Texas and Oklahoma going to the Pac-12? And ultimately Michigan and Nebraska and Nebraska went to the Big Ten, and Maryland and A&M and Missouri came into the SEC, and the Pac-12 added Utah and Colorado, and the Big 12 looked like they were going to collapse, but they managed to keep Texas and OU. So anyway, that was all that summer, and it ended up being one of the highest ratings books that we've ever had on AFR in a year where LSU baseball went kaput as early as they've ever. So there's always something, man. And then the next year, in 2012, was Bountygate. That summer is when we learned Sean Payton was going to be suspended. So I mean, there's always something, man. So I would fully expect, again, something in the next 3 or 4 weeks is going to pop. Maybe it's the future of SEC scheduling, SEC football scheduling. Maybe it's something related to NIL. I don't know. But I would suspect something major will pop here in the next 3 or 4 weeks before media days. Always does. Let's see, Mark, Southern Miss's pitching coach is the real deal. Probably get a big raise or big time promotion. He should. Shelby, loved the rundown of the recruiting class yesterday. This class is crazy. Thank you, man. Appreciate you listening, Shelby. Thanks for that. Let's see, I think Emory is really going to come on this year in the backfield. It's his time. I mean, it's funny how so Ole Miss got the TCU transfer. Is it Zach Evans? I think is his name. Yeah, Zach Evans, the running back who was a 5-star transfer from Ole Miss. Transferred to Ole Miss from TCU. And people are really hot. They're like, man, it's former 5-star. I'm like, John Emery was a 5-star too. He was the number 1 running back in the country. It's the same scenario. It's a guy who, but except just at the place he's still at. He missed all of last year because of the academic issue and the COVID year in 2020, and his in 2019 he was just behind Clyde and why am I blanking? They gave the kid number 18, the running back with the long hair who transferred to Utah. Chris, whatever. Anyway, point being, he's just really had a career that's gotten derailed, but doesn't mean he's gotten any less athletic. So, by the way, shout out Dr. Blake Williamson did John Emery's eye surgery. Shout out to Brock, y'all. As always, Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic, brortho.com. Need an orthopedist, you go to Brock. Of course, they are the best. Brock Rock and Wine, let me remind you, August the 6th, new date, new location. Brock Rock and Wine, August the 6th at Tiger Stadium. Buy your tickets today at brortho.com, brortho.com for the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic. And, of course, Hudco Roofing, hudcoroofing.com. Tell you every day, do business with someone you know. Hudco Roofing, hudcoroofing.com. very, very grateful to everyone who has given us a chance to earn your business as HUDCOs continue to grow, which has been awesome. So thank you to everybody. Right. Tony Williams, Jason Horn, Earl, Matt. I think LSU will have 6 or 7 wins this year. Too many holes. Not sure about the quarterback situation. So I think this, Earl, and Otter said it this way, is right. You got 3 layups on your schedule in the non-conference, and then there's Florida State, where LSU's about a field goal favorite. Early line there. If you chalk up your 3 W's and then you look at the other 9 games, do you go 5-4? Do you go 4-5? How does it really look? I think you probably scribble an L next to Bama. So if you're 3-1, then you got the other 8. Do you split and go 4-4? Well, then you're 7-5. You know what I mean? So I could hear an argument either way. So yeah, I think this team. I think 7 is probably on point. I would love it if they could fall on the plus side of that. Beat Florida State, win all their non-conference games. You go 4-4 in the league, then you're 8-4. And if you manage to get to 5-3 in conference with a loss to Bama and then 2 other losses somewhere else along the way, and you get to 9-3, that's a hell of a year 1 for Brian Kelly if this team manages to get to 9-3. Which, look, a really good coaching staff, a competent head coach, who will have a plan, who really attack the transfer portal. Has guys that are working hard that want to be here. I'd like to think good things happen to those teams and you're rewarded for all that work. And hopefully this one will be. Mark, Miles Brennan has an NFL caliber arm. There's a lot of people. Jarrett Lee had an NFL caliber arm. Unfortunately, you need more than just an arm to play quarterback. Jason Horn, let's see. Chase Pellegrin. Okay, well, let's all with the DraftKings stuff. I think it'd be awesome to give it away. Okay. Gerald Mathern, what's up? Matt Godwin, are Riley Cooper and Jacob Hasty back next season? I would imagine so. I mean, they both have more eligibility, and I don't know that either would be a high enough draft pick to warrant leaving, unless if they just wanted to go start their pro career. But my guess is they both want to run it back and try to win here. Zion supposedly wants to stay in NOLA, play with Ingram and McCollum. He'd be smart too. I mean, that was one of the best parts about the Pels run this year, was it proved that what they're building here can win. There's a lot of people super optimistic about this franchise moving forward, as well they should be. How did Jabari Smith play at Auburn when his dad went to LSU? It's a great question. I don't know. I don't follow recruiting, man. Kyle DeVille, thoughts on the LHSA modifying the select, non-select schools affected every Shreveport school? I don't know what they did, Kyle. I don't know how they modified it. Forgive me. Let's see. Next year's baseball recruiting class is going to be ridiculous as well. Have a kid, MJ Co, who's a legit two-way shortstop pitcher throwing 96. Have an elite catcher in Blake Mitchell, some great outfielders. The J train is rolling. There is no doubt, Shelby, he is recruiting like a madman. As always, the real question is, can you get these guys to campus? That's the big thing. So it's a delicate balancing act, man. You go recruit the best players, but can you get them here? So he will. He'll get enough of them. The other thing I'll tell y'all too is that NIL is I think going to play a role, maybe not so much with the high school kids, but with the transfer portal. Hang on one second. Drew's back next week. I'll give you an example. The kid, Tommy Smith or Tommy White, whatever his name is, kid from NC State, Tommy Tanks. His best offer coming out of high school was NC State, so he went to NC State. Hits 27 homers. Well, he's got a marketing agent, right? And what's happening now is a lot of these, the agents are, the way it used to work is that baseball players could have representation because they could, and so could basketball, but you couldn't accept a benefit from an agent because you could have an advisor about the draft. And so what's happening now though with NIL is these agents are allowed to work as marketing agents for the athlete as well. Well, if the marketing agent is out soliciting NIL deals for their clients, well, they can make a little money on the front end and the back end. So it's not unrealistic. I think that's why you're hearing all these people say that Tommy Tanks is going to Florida State. I mean, that seems to be just the general accepted. Again, I don't know, by the way. I do not know. I'm telling you. Like, I don't know the kid. I don't know. I'm just, when you talk to people in and around baseball, college, they're like, yeah, that kid's going to Florida State. And it seems to be that he's got NIL deals lined up, which again is not allowed as a recruiting inducement, but apparently is happening not just in football, but in all sports. So I do think NIL will matter as far as transfer portal in baseball, for sure. I mean, I'll tell you, I heard that there's a Big 12 shortstop that's transferring to Tennessee. Shoot, I don't know his name. It's Kansas or Kansas State. Hang on. Yeah, Kansas. Here it is. Maui Ahuna. Kansas entered the portal May 23rd. Maui Ahuna, there it is. Kansas shortstop Maui Ahuna's entered the transfer portal. He was Jayhawks' best player. Hit .396, 8 homers, and drove in 48 runs. He's from Hawaii. So he's entered the portal. I've been told he's going to Tennessee. That Tennessee has him an NIL deal lined up, and he's going to Tennessee. So if Maui Ahuna ends up at Tennessee, you heard it here first. So I think transfer portal NIL is absolutely a thing. Chris McCann, what's up? Rapid batches. LSU athletics in 2024 should be in full swing. The big three in women's basketball, perennial powers. I would agree with that. I mean, I think Scott Woodward has put coaches in the 4 major sports in place to be really, really good. To be in the upper echelon of all the majors. I agree. Oh yeah, Matt Lusto. The Shady's bar fight was also the summer of 2011. You're absolutely right. It sure was. Tracy Poole, good morning. Like your shirt. Thank you. Yeah, it's Beyond Gymnastics. So Drew went there when he was younger. I don't know if y'all ever saw the videos of him. So it's special needs gymnastics here in town, and they do a great job. So yeah, Beyond Gymnastics. Conference realignment was 2012, first year in Houston. No, Matt. No. A&M and Missouri started in the league in 2012, but all of those decisions were made summer of 2011. So they didn't join the league in the summer of 2012 and then start playing that fall. They joined in the summer of 2011, played their final season in the Big 12, and then came into the SEC. I mean, that's when all of the conversation happened. I mean, that's when every day there was some new breaking story about a team leaving a league or something like that. Let's see, Eugene. Good morning, Matt. Hated we don't have supers to look ahead to. But here's to family, the NBA Finals, good eats, drinks, music, till NFL training camp. Yes, sir. Y'all keep coming back to AFR, though, man. These are some of my most favorite shows. I'll tell you, like, Smiley Kaufman's coming on the show today. And Smiley's one of my favorites. He's both working his way back toward the PGA Tour, but also trying his hand at announcing. Like, he announced for the PGA Championship. He was the on-course announcer for the PGA Championship for ESPN, and was phenomenal at it. So, we'll get to talk to Smiley today. I think we're going to be able to talk to Josh Smith today. We were supposed to do it yesterday, but Monday's game with the Rangers and the Guardians got rained out, so they played a doubleheader yesterday, so he couldn't come on. But I think we'll have that today. So I love this time of year because you get to do more broad, fun, different types of topics and talk to interesting people that you don't always have the luxury of doing when you're deep in the throes of a season, you know, when you're covering the day to day of a season. So I actually love this time of year. I mean, this gets me so jazzed. I mean, the grind of a football season when you're 20 weeks on, you know, going deep on the same topics. It's just different. I mean, I just, you know, this time of year energizes me. I love it. Brant Roban, what time AFR yesterday? Can I hear about the recruiting? Okay, so it's Brant. It was hour 2, and it was the third segment, but it was late in the hour because we went long in the first segment talking about the DraftKings win totals, and then we had Lee, and so it was late. I mean, it was like 4:40 Central Time. So, but it was late in hour number 2. Hunter Fournette, get Gordon on the phone with Tommy Tanks immediately. Brett Dagger, I can't remember the name, but there is a kid from Air Force who's a two-way player that we could look at. I have no insight there. Chris McCann, this is easily my favorite sports show all day. Great info, perfect excuse for waking up early. It's held on Pacific time. Thank you, Chris. That's awesome, man. So it's 6:20 Pacific. Wow. So you really like whenever we do later morning scones. You know, I was thinking about this too, y'all. This time has kind of worked out okay, but what would y'all think if we bumped morning scone to 10 a.m. and went live every day right at 10 a.m.? I don't know. I mean, I may keep it, you know, set this 7:30 Central Time when we generally start, but let me know your thoughts. Yeah, I could basically do it essentially like when Drew's, because what happens is when Drew's in school, we got to get out of that. I got to wake him up at 8 and get him out of the house to get to school for like 8:40. So, you know, I wake up, shower, get dressed, usually come in here and do morning scone from 7:30 to 8, and then I go get Drew up and get him out the day. You know, the other option I was thinking is I could wake up, work out, get Drew ready, get to Guarantee, do LSU daily, and then do morning scone live at 10. Just thought. Let me know what y'all think. Jesse Pose, good morning. Eugene Sutherland, Matt, we trust in you to get us to the early June, late July dead content valley. Eugene, but I'll tell you this, man. One of the things that I am allergic to is when people say the dog days of summer or there's nothing going on. No, there's plenty going on. You know, when it's football season, it's all spoon-fed to you because it's right there in front of you. And sometimes during the summer, you have to work a little harder to find the interesting storylines or topics and get creative. But I love, there's always something going on. Like, I will never say there's nothing going on, dog days of summer, because you're basically giving your audience an excuse not to listen or watch. There is always something going on, you know. And sometimes these shows are the most fun. Eugene Sutherland, morning scone, 11 a.m. East Coast, sounds chill. Okay. It's pointless enough that I could listen, but if I go off mute, Elmo Ducks might come over the call. Natalie Stowe, I love it. That's so good. Let's see, Gail Lindsay, good morning. Digging the shirt. Yeah, look at Beyond Gymnastics getting some love today. I love it, man. Tony, Chris Curry. Thank you, Chris. Tony, that's what I was thinking. Chris Curry. How bad will ULL football drop off with Napier gone? Yeah, I think significantly. Not only was he a great recruiter, he was a great coach, too. I do think that that's a big loss for them. Blake DeVilliers, where can we find info on the 2023 baseball recruiting class? Look, I mean, LSU announced the class. Whoops. Not 2023, by the way. You got to look up 2022, just as an FYI. Here you go. I'll pin. This is the link. Let's see who asked me that. It was Blake. Here you go, Blake. I'm gonna post the link from LSUsports.net with a blurb about each of the players. It's there in the comments. You know what we haven't done in a long time, y'all. I'm kind of regretting it.
Someone you know, Scone, Ontario.
All you need is hardcore.
Call hardcore roofing.
364
1007.
All right, Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. Dale Broussard going to see Crystal Saturday. Been too long. You know, Dale, I got nothing going on Saturday. I may see if she's got an opening. What time are you going? I may go see her Saturday too. I need her to work out my Achilles, man. Ever since I started riding Peloton, I've had like a 10-year-old strained Achilles injury. It's flared up just with all that pressure on the calf, Achilles, and bending on the bike. And I need her to go work on that. That's Crystal Poche, by the way, at Restored Motions. Did Division I college football players get 1 or 2 free seasons of eligibility due to COVID? 1. Aaron Hornsby, Charlie Cavell, good morning. Brian Wynn, Matt, who do you like in the Ole Miss, Southern Miss, Super Regional? I think Ole Miss is as hot as any team in the country right now. Generally, I'd favor pitching over hitting, which would have me lean Southern Miss. But, man, I would not want to be in the way of that Ole Miss offense right now because they really are slugging it and feeling good about themselves. Veteran team, man. Will NIL ruin the essence of the college game? The essence of the college game has been ruined for about 50 years. We've had the same conversation about guys leaving early for the draft and transferring and whatever. It's just another part of it. Chase Pellegrin, it's never a guaranteed W for any game, but like you saying, we could probably scribble an L for Bama. Do you think we scribble a W for Auburn? They seem to be a complete mess. No, Chase, and the reason is because that's on the road. Auburn did beat you last year in Baton Rouge, and you have to go play that game at Jordan-Hare Stadium, which, if you remember, even the worst Auburn team in the last 50 years, 2012, LSU was in a miserable dogfight in that game. It ended like 13-10 or something, 13-9, something like that, 12-9, whatever it was. It is never easy to go win there. Just like it's never easy to come win in Baton Rouge. So, no, I would not scribble a W there. Jay just finished 4th in the SEC with 0 aces. Dude is elite at his job. I agree. Baseball is the deepest sport in the SEC. That's also true. Is the merger with Texas and Oklahoma for all sports? Yes. They are joining the SEC. Yes, in all sports. Debbie Jenkins, good morning. I love 10 a.m. Okay. Gerald Mathern, NIL deal should be paid in Gamecoin. By the way, there are 3 Gamecoin board members in Vegas today with Demario Davis, Gamecoin ambassador Demario Davis. There is a national 7-on-7 competition, like the championship, going on in Las Vegas with Demario Davis and other NFL players. And Gamecoin is going to present to everyone there, the NFL players and all of the elite high school players there for the 7-on-7. They asked me to do a presentation about crypto, about Gamecoin, about all that sort of stuff. So, big day, a big week, these next 3 days really for Gamecoin. They're out in Vegas. Who's your favorite? The odds-on favorite to win the College World Series? Oh, it's Tennessee, and they're a heavy favorite to win. Brian wins 7:30 is better. Starts the day off right. Philip Strevis, okay. Gerald Mathern, go live when convenient for you and E-Rock. Well, E-Rock, it's never going to be convenient for E-Rock because when she leaves for school, she's gone. She's usually gone out of the house at like 6:50 in the morning. Let's see, Shelby prefer the early slot. Okay, so maybe not a consensus. Michael Cook, what's going on, man? The Hudco Shuffle is what won over E-Rock, isn't it? My wife loves my moves like that too. Hey, bro, you ain't never seen me dance. Couple more. Chris McCann, wish football had a Bob Uecker. I do not miss listening to Brewers games. Maybe I do miss listening to Brewers games. Trivia card, let's try it for a week, see how it shakes out. You mean 10 a.m.? Okay, that ain't a bad idea. Still sad we aren't playing this weekend. Me too, Cat Jones. Let's see, Eugene. Quote of the week comes from a veteran LSU player, said they'll need a second intimidator for the titles Jay will bring. That's a vote of confidence, if nothing else. Can't remember the player's name, sorry. A current LSU player or a former LSU player? Do you think if we had Kelly 1 year earlier, would TJ Finley be at LSU? Ooh, that's a good question. You know, the thing about Finley is I mean, the better question is probably about Max Johnson. Because Finley was not the higher, uh, more highly recruited guy. Finley was a 3-star. But it was one of those deals where when you have a prospect like that in Louisiana, you have to take him. And that happens often, where you may not love the player, but you take him because he's an in-state guy and he's highly regarded. That was like Cardell Thomas was that guy. Ish Sofsher. They didn't love Ish Sofsher, the defensive lineman who went to Bama and then transferred, now he's at USC. They didn't love Ish Sofsher. They thought he was overweight and lazy and didn't love football, but he was a 5-star from a meet. You had to recruit him. Better question would probably be more about Max Johnson. How would that have shaked out? Or shaken out? Shaken out or shaked out? Chris, till the net, the only way I could check out LSU or the Saints in West Texas was hope it was after sunset when WWL would crank up the transmitter to 50,000 watts. It's more than 50,000 watts, by the way. For example, Eagle 98.1 is a 100,000 watt FM. L is a true clear channel station. So in radio parlance, that means they're the only station on that frequency on 870 AM, so they can crank it up. So like people tell us all the time, hey, you need to turn up the signal. You can't. So the FCC regulates the power of a signal because like we are 104.5 FM. Well, there's 104.5 FM stations all over the country on that frequency. And so the FCC regulates how strong your signal can be so they don't bleed over each other, right? WWL is a clear not Clear Channel the company, which is now iHeart, but like they are a clear channel station, meaning they're the only station on the 870 frequency. So that's why you can hear it all over the country at night. I remember in 2007, my brother and I went to go watch the final game at the old Orange Bowl Stadium when Miami played Virginia. I always wanted to see a game there. It was the last game. I was like, I'm going. So I flew down there, went and watched the game. Miami got dump trucked, by the way, by UVA and Chris Long and those guys. But leaving the Orange Bowl, we got in our rental car. I turned on 870, and I heard it was the game when LSU played Louisiana Tech in Tiger Stadium, and Hester had like the 80-yard run. But we listened to that game in Miami on 870. I used to, when I was in school in South Bend, I would listen to 870. You could hear the LSU games on 870 in South Bend. So, yeah. Drew Bianco said it. Okay, interesting. What Ish was at USC, then at Southeastern, now back in the portal? Oh my God. See, Brett, like that's a great wow. So he left Southern Cal after 1 year. Wow. Anyway, so look, that's a great example of it, right? Of a guy who's a highly regarded local prospect that you don't love, that you gotta offer. But look, it was Hootie Jones was the same thing. I mean, there's a bunch of them, y'all. They loved Jamal Adams, but Hootie Jones was a 4-star in-state safety, and they felt like and they were in a battle with Bama, so they had to go after Hootie. Well, Hootie picked Bama, and LSU got Jamal Adams. That worked out. Let's see, Eugene. Jim Henderson is the voice of my childhood and adulthood, up through my early 40s. Bless that man. It's amazing that Jim Henderson was the Saints play-by-play guy for so long, because the franchise was abysmal. It was poorly run. They never won anything. But he was an elite play-by-play man. It's actually kind of stunning that a franchise that bad had a play-by-play man that good. Bold prediction, by 2030, LSU has a natty in football. basketball, women's basketball, Final Four, men's basketball. I guess that's baseball. Convince me I'm wrong. Let's see, by 2030? Oh, no, by 2030? 7 more years? Yeah. I'd agree with all that. The one I would maybe question is the Final Four in men's basketball. Could they do it? Sure. It's going to take Matt McMahon some heavy lifting to get through sanctions, build a roster, and make a run. But sure, it's possible. All the other ones I would agree with. All right. Club La Vila shout out. Remember that joint from 1988. All right, y'all. We are done. I got to bounce. Thanks so much for watching as always. Have a great day. Shout out to Brock. Remember, brortho.com. You need orthopedics, go to Brock. Brock Rock and Wine, August the 6th at Tiger Stadium. And of course, Hudco Roofing, commercial, residential, roof repairs, roof replacements, soft wash, gutters. We can do it all. Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. Do business with someone you know. Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. Okay, y'all have an awesome day. We'll see you for LSU Daily and AFR3. Peace.